Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So we gotta do a update on Trump's job approval or presidential approval rating. And a lot of people will say it is not good. It's actually looking very bad for Trump. You're seeing that the approval rating's pretty much the worst it has been this whole entire time since. Oh, yeah, this makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so this is the second term. It's basically at its worst ever yet. And I want to go ahead and really debunk that because honestly, you could say, yes, Donald Trump is at his most unpopular point during his administration. But to be honest, we had a very chaotic end of June and very chaotic July. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. Trump, regardless or not, he is approving of his work in Iran, but not the majority of his base doesn't even think that was good. What he did when it comes to the tiny 12-day Iran-Israel war, which proved to be a success when it comes to a ceasefire, 12 days. A lot of people just did not like that Trump got involved on the behalf of Israel and went and bombed those two nuclear facilities. In Trump's mind, he did a good job. He took out the Iranian nuclear bases, but in the average American's mind, they're not necessarily, they say, well, we shouldn't have actually done that. We shouldn't have rolled over to Israel like that. And I get they're correct on principle that we shouldn't be doing this to every foreign country. Like, oh, a country needs help, we got to roll over there and help them. I'm not necessarily for that. But why I think I'm a little bit more compromised in that scenario was not to mention is Iran. We have to stand up to Iran, just like we believe in consequences and actions. Iran was given 50 days to denuclearize, and it was day 50, day 51. They haven't denuclearized yet. Israel went over there and retaliated. So really, it's FAFO for them. You F around, you find out. And it would be very stupid and very not patriotic of America and kind of weak of America. Like, we are so intimidated to go and deliver the consequence for Iran. That would be bad, right? We know for certain if in order for America to stand up to the world and stand up as a world power, you're gonna have to do some things that are gonna make the non-interventionists mad, basically delivering blows, specifically consequences. And that's why I really think is different, unless it's done for consequences, because we given Iran an option. Iran thought we wouldn't do it. We're not going to prove Iran right for not retaliating. So that's why I credit for President Trump that, but normally I would not back a non-interventionist war. When it comes to other stuff, so there was the Iran-Israel thing that really did tank his approval with a lot of the non-interventionist faction when it comes to MAGA. They really, really loved the non-intervention. And there's also the deal that he's just doubling back and supporting Ukraine. I don't necessarily like that. He is sending more weapons to Ukraine, kissing Zelensky's back rear as we speak. We are going to have a good, I shouldn't say kissing rear. That's not what I meant. But we are going to have a summit in Russia and between Putin and Trump, and I think it's going to go good. Hopefully, it's not going to be like the one that happened 4 years ago between Biden and Putin, where Biden was just so crabby to be there. It's going to be in Alaska, and it's going to be this week, and we're going to see how it goes. But that's going to potentially be an end to the war. Potentially, we saw peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan, which is, of course, which has been a conflict that has been going on since the two became countries after the fall of the Soviet Union. Armenia and Azerbaijan has not been friends. And we're actually seeing a rollback, and it seems as if Azerbaijan and Armenia are trying to get together to counter Russia, which is weird because Russia was a strong ally of Armenia till now. And just recently, Russia and Azerbaijan have been falling out, and Russia has been threatening Azerbaijan, and Armenia, out of a sudden turn of events, is offering to help Azerbaijan in this circumstance. So this is very interesting, and I'm happy to see the two leaders, the Prime Minister of Armenia and the President of Azerbaijan, coming together. You also have the end of the Congo Civil War, the civil war in Congo, and also the Rwandan intervention. You saw President Trump coming up with a historic peace deal that would end the conflict. Rwanda withdrawing their troops from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo have been engaging in battle and war and strife since the early 2000s. This is historical, but of course these stories are flown under the radar. Now, Donald Trump, I understand his approval rating comes to foreign policy isn't going to be all great. Yeah, -3. You saw a tie just a couple days ago. Well, actually, this was before the historic deal. You would imagine, okay, if we talked a lot about that Azerbaijan-Armenia deal, that his approval rating would be much higher, or it'd be climbing back into the right direction. But you get deals like Israel and Hamas. Yeah, -11. A lot of the people don't like. There has been a huge turn of events when it comes to the state of Israel. Israel is not really viewed as the good guy anymore. Okay, Israel is just being is coming off as retaliatory. They are coming off as warmonger, like neocon, and just out of pit rage and anger. And it was different in 2024 and 2023. Now it's 2025. We're approaching 2 years of this, and we have not made any direction to peace. And the world is pretty much done helping Israel, and the world's saying, Israel, you're by yourself now. And I'm not necessarily saying we should go ahead and say and do that. Here, the difference for us with Israel is a tactical wall, okay? It's a barrier. And the reason why is if Palestine is independent, if anything happens to Israel, then Iran has access to the Mediterranean. And that's a liability for our national security. So that's really why we feel eager to support Israel. But yeah, I do think we need to tell Israel hard truths. You guys need to come to the table. Like, I did not like at all when they attacked Damascus a week after the ceasefire between Iran and I'm like, what are you doing, Bibi? What are you doing? Like, this guy, like, he just went in Syria after the fall of Assad's regime. He just went in across the Galilee into the Golan Heights. And yeah, that's where he's occupying Syrian lands. I'm like, dude, we got Syria. Syria wants to work with us. The Syrians want to work with us. I don't care if the leader is. The point is, we're starting wars that don't need to be started. So yeah, I'm a bit compromised. A little neutral when it comes to Trump's foreign policy. I'm being quite honest. I do not like what I'm seeing in Ukraine. I am okay with what's going on in Gaza and the Israel war. It's really not our business. But then again, I think the United States has been a precedented defender of the state of Israel. And I think realistically and geography and strategically, we do need Israel to survive. We can't have a jihadist state in the Mediterranean. And especially if it's an Iranian proxy, and that's what Palestine is. So, yeah, I'm a bit compromised here. So a lot of people think it's over. Trump's approval ratings in the gutter. No, it's not necessarily in the gutter. It's not looking good, but let's continue and put context into this. He is still above, like, he's like -6, okay? I guarantee you one poll will put him into the -6. But I will tell you, as of right now, you got to remember, we are seeing most of these horrible polls from polls like Reuters. Polls like Reuters. We have other bad polls like, let's see here. CBS is a historically bad polling source, has predicted an overwhelming Kamala Harris landslide. That obviously didn't happen. Fox News based network, but it's horrible with its basic deal here, and it's not looking good. Like, it's horrible. -8. That's so unrealistic. And I've lost so much respect from Rasmussen. So much respect, because Rasmussen has been very unfair. Okay? Very unfair. When I first heard that Rasmussen said that they called Donald Trump a traitor, now I know what I just said, kissing Zelensky's rear. I shouldn't have said that. That just came out of my brain, and I didn't really necessarily... I shouldn't have said that with the context, so that's my fault. I shouldn't have said that. But I own up to it. But I'm waiting for Rasmussen to apologize to President Trump for what they said about him, for not releasing the sheet of paper with names on it. What did Rasmussen say? Rasmussen called Trump a traitor to America. That's what they called him, a traitor to America, for not releasing a list. This man took a bullet to the head for America, and you dare call him a traitor. So this exposes what Rasmussen really is. Rasmussen's not a based polling source. Rasmussen is an insider source that's in it for their own agenda. Money, power, also conspiracy, right? The guy that runs it is absolutely insane, because he suggests, Epstein thing's going to destroy. And I'm like, knowing from the beginning, it's not. Because Epstein, Donald Trump did not promise to release the Epstein files. He said that this was going to be on the sidelines. He didn't campaign on this. I watched every rally. He never talked about those Epstein files. He talked about the main issues. And that's what those issues are what made Donald Trump win. That's what brought people to the polls. Now, Epstein was pretty much more talked about after, the first months into the Trump presidency. There was a Fox News interview where they asked if Trump would release the Epstein files, and he hesitantly said yes. So they took it as a promise. So honestly, Trump couldn't deliver the goods with Epstein. He's not going to deliver the goods. And the same baboons, these buffoons, are still going on. Trump, you need to release the list. It's going to destroy our... Like, we're in a month in. And it hasn't done much damage. In fact, I think Donald Trump took more damage from the Israel-Iran war, that 12-day war in the end of June. A lot of people were very distrusted him because of that. But it's not like Donald Trump's presidency was destroyed by that. You take a look at his first job approval, and it's actually much better. 10, 12 points better. We're talking about 2017 and the current aggregate. 2017, if we ended the year in 2017 with a -13 net approval. That's bad. And now you got, of course, in just August, we do have a couple months to go, but we're in August. We're over halfway done with 2025, and he's still in the -5.9. He's doing fairly good. Donald Trump, however, he has a lunatic Democrats to go after. And I mean, like, seriously, we have obstacles. And I get a lot of people don't like what they're seeing with I mean, a lot of people do, like, they do praise Trump when it comes to ICE rates. Why is he at -6? I don't trust these polls. I mean, this is more accurate. Morning Consult has come out to be more accurate recent days. And just then, when you go to an average person, you say, do you like what you're seeing with immigration? A lot of people will say yes. Because then again, we're enforcing the rule of law. Now, there are skepticisms about the tactics, but like Greg Foreman put it, the Democrat governors and these mayors, they're not giving ICE any choice. They're not giving ICE a better options and better choices. They are forcing us to do what we have to do. Like, for real, we're showing up to these people's courts and we're arresting them. Yeah, that's unfortunate because Democrats are, these silly Democrats are forcing us to do this. We have absolutely no choice. Because if we worked with police, they would get their silly due process that they're getting anyway. What they mean by due process, Democrats, what they mean by due process is submitting an appeal over and over and over and over again, unlimited amount of times. Even though they have submitted appeals, they are just limited to. Because eventually they're going to have to go. Democrats know that, but they think we're dumb. So that this is what really is the main backbone of this. So yeah, immigration, you got to also remember that not all these polls are necessarily accurate. Okay? Now, liberals will say, oh, of course you're saying they're not accurate. It's a damnation to Trump. And I'm like, well, you're acting like we haven't been through 3 election cycles where these same pollsters in a row told us that Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris would win in a landslide, which obviously didn't happen. So why should we take their word for it this time around? No, we give you nothing. Nope. You have zero credibility. These sources, zero, none, nada. In fact, leave it to Discord. Red Eagle came up with a better average. You'll see the YouGov and Reuters, which have been historically bad, net worth polling. They're saying Donald Trump's at -13 with a 55% disapproval, 42% approval. Now, if you were a liberal, you would take this and say, Donald Trump is a -13. Of course they're going to say that. Of course. Because they don't want you to know that YouGov and Reuters has totally blown Kamala Harris into a blue landslide in 2024. Having her win Iowa or something like Ohio. No, they don't want you to know that. Or they're just that ignorant. They just take these polls and run with it, throw it in the wall like it's spaghetti. This is how desperate they are. But you got more accurate polls, like non-YouGov and Reuters polls that are more accurate. They have Trump at a 50% disapproval rating. Yes, he is underwater officially when it comes to his approval rating, 47%, but that is a number that's still yet respectable. Obama was technically in the 47%, and everyone said how amazing he was. He's a legendary president, and that he never did bad. Yada 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 yada. And yeah, you'll see for quite a while in 2014. Yeah, look at this. Obama had a -11, -13. But take it this way. Barack Obama was more unpopular in 2014 than Trump is right now. And they tell us that Barack Obama is the best president ever. Of course, It's true. Barack Obama did have a quick recovery, probably from the Hillary Clinton momentum, Donald Trump coming out, Donald Trump giving Barack Obama good numbers. You'll see he surges right on his final day, but it didn't matter because he is out. But yes, yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest with ourselves. This is his first term. He had good numbers. Oh, this is first term here. Yeah, 2010 was difficult. 2014, -10 underwater. Hilarious. -5. Yeah, Obama was -0.5 underwater. Yeah, and you always have a honeymoon. Obama had a 2.2%. But yeah, what we're seeing right now from Trump is nothing bad. You can't necessarily say he's unpopular when we hold Obama to the standard of popularity. You can't do that. Then if Democrats, if you say Trump is unpopular, then you are saying that Barack Obama is a failed president. But, you can't have their cake and eat it too. So this is obviously interesting. And I want to also add this. So we obviously know how loud liberals are, right? We know they have a legacy, big, long legacy of being loud. And they are strong-willed. We know this. They rule Reddit and they rule Facebook. All I see is a bunch of liberals on these conservative pages trolling, and they spend hours on end on a conservative page trolling. So if they're doing that, they're definitely going to see a "Do you approve Donald Trump" poll. They are definitely 99% going to click on it. If they are showing up on town hall, screaming their heads off, and being a childish distraction, they are 100% going to click on a approval poll on Donald Trump. And they're going to do whatever they can to disapprove on everything. And I can guarantee you, they would give him a -F on everything. They give zero benefit of the doubt for their political opponents. And there you go. We're talking about liberals. Liberals are more likely to do these polls than conservatives. Conservatives don't necessarily spend their day on technology and on the internet than liberals. Conservatives go to work, right? They go to work. Trump supporters go to work. And they come home and they provide for the family. Liberals are unemployed. They don't have a job. They work at fast food restaurants and they're glued to their phones regardless. So yes, the likelihood is we're probably going to see more and more and more and more of these polls, guys. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. It is very different compared to 2014. It's evolved around time. So, yeah, once in a while, you will get a bunch of conservatives running on the internet, and they'll take a poll. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but let's talk about average. Which party or which ideology spends their most time on the computer involved in politics? Liberals or conservatives? Overwhelmingly liberals. Okay, so they're likely going to control the outcome of the polling. Okay, not to mention all of these sources, most of them. Rasmussen, I think, is just butthurt they didn't get their stupid list. But yeah, most of them are liberal. So, and we know how liberals play their game. They rig everything. They take it out of perspective. And not to mention, there have been good Trump polls that have not been added to the said roster, have not been added to the average. So, you might have to ask Real Clear Polling on that. What's the beef on that? What is the problem with that? So, anyway, I am 100% optimistic with the Trump administration still. I have not lost hope. No, Trump's presidency is not over. It is month 8 for the crying out loud. We have, for a reminder for you little liberals, we have 3 3 years and a half to go. So buckle up, it's going to be very fun. But anyway, before I end this video, trying to think, I probably want to do a state update. So yes, you do have also the registration numbers going up. If Trump's doing so bad, if Trump's making everyone mad, then why is the Republican registration still rising? So, I mean, let's be honest. Nevada, Arizona are likely going to be an outcome of a 2020 North Carolina, if you were to put into that context. And you have Georgia also in North Carolina. So you have, let's actually put a color in these states. So you have the Sun Belt, really, being more Republican. Why? Well, you have older folks going from the north going to these 4 Sun Belt states. They are getting relatively more conservative. Now, you can't hold Georgia to a very high standard because they do have Atlanta. The 2024 election did show that, yeah, Atlanta and Georgia, they are getting Democrat. They are getting very, very liberal. Okay? So that could be somewhat of a question mark. I'm probably going to make it tossed up now that I think about it. But you also have Pennsylvania, which is very much up for grabs also, but registration has proved to be rising. But really, if you were to say who's leading for 2024, the Republicans are already guaranteed, as of right now, this could change, but as of right now, 250 electoral votes. Actually, no, wrong. 252 electoral votes. Democrats are still stuck at 226. Now, obviously, they can pull something off. They must win Pennsylvania. If they lose Pennsylvania, they're not going to win. And that's why they're panicking in Pennsylvania, like I did in my video this earlier. When it comes to those Philadelphia numbers, they could possibly pick up a Georgia and the blue wall. Not really the blue wall anymore, if you want to call it. No, they still lose. It's 271. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.